Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fourth Sector podcast. You are joined by myself and Joe. It is race week. It is almost free practice one day. We are on Thursday as of recording, and when this comes out, it will be free practice one day, unless I don't edit it and it's after the race, probably. But yeah, me and Joe, we're going to chat a bit of news, chat a bit of French Grand Prix, and we're both a little bit broken. So this probably isn't going to be the most energetic episode.
The heat wave has kind of taken it out of me, and even today, that's not actually super hot.
We're just like
I'm a broken man.
Yeah, we've been like broken down so that even like today's flimsy, like 23 or whatever, was enough to just.
I think it was 26 where I am, to be fair.
It might have been quite warm today. To be fair, I have not actually looked. That was a mere estimation. As someone that's
22, it's 22 now, so I reckon.
Oh, it must have been hotter than that then.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not a weather podcast. It is a Formula One podcast. So we've had a bit of time off and we've consumed Austria and we are in France this weekend. Le Castellet, the Paul Ricard is what I'm going to just call it from now on.
We.
Oh, this guy.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Joseph.
Je m'appelle. Joe, have you seen the weather?
Mate, I'll be real. If the Ferrari cars finish the race, I'm going to fucking give you money.
Well, okay, I'm very much a Ferrari fan this weekend then. Ironically, with the weather, Sainz and Ferrari are considering a new engine and taking a penalty.
New engine?
Yeah.
Isn't the last one on fire anyway?
Yeah, so he probably didn't have much of a choice, but I think they could maybe put in an old one that's probably also broken. I don't like his chances. Either way, it's getting blown. It's gonna blow up. It's gonna set on fire. So
he's not finishing the race.
No, he's not. Sainz is not finishing the race. It's odds on that he doesn't finish this weekend. So for anyone that hasn't seen the weather for the Paul Ricard circuit this weekend, it's all about mid-30s, 36, 37, 35. For anyone that's British and has just experienced the heat wave that we've had over here, picture that heat wave that we had on Monday and Tuesday, except you've got to sit in a hot box for 2 hours and drive around. And in some people's case, Nicholas Latifi, it's not even going to be worth it at the end of the race. You know what I mean? It's just you're just going to be hot and shit, basically. So yeah, I think it's going to really be interesting. It means that tyre warm up probably will be a lot better. Obviously, track temperatures and stuff will be a lot better, which is good for a car like the Mercedes. Ferrari.
Let's save that for predictions, actually.
But we are, of course, going to be saving.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a little bit of news. As we have mentioned on the last podcast, we are going to get a couple. It's been speculated for a while, and it has been mentioned by us as well as many outlets a few times. We are going to get a couple of new engine suppliers in 2026 from the Volkswagen Group, and it's Audi and Porsche. Porsche are in at Red Bull. And Audi, the reports are that Audi are going to be like, in the case of Audi, there are 4 teams who would be interested in a partnership, including Williams, Aston Martin, Sauber, and McLaren. Oh, no, I've read that wrong. There was a full stop in there. It says McLaren already pulled out because the British team did not want to give the Germans the majority shares they wanted.
This sounds a lot more political than I'm ready to deal with.
It sounds like 1939 to me. But I don't know. Anyway, so we've got a couple of new things. I'm not sure what the whole Porsche Red Bull powertrains thing is all about. Is that just to stick their name on it? Do you know?
I guess it's kind of like the Aston Martin Red Bull situation, I guess, right? So they've registered because they had, as we spoke about, back in the last season, Red Bull powertrains was the new powertrains because it's no longer Honda, but they're still kind of working with Honda. And now they're going to be working with Porsche more.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's all strange. And it certainly is in terms of Red Bull have found themselves as very much a position of, they're at the forefront of the new regulations. And they've got themselves in a very fortunate position where, as long as it's all managed very carefully, they're going to be at the forefront for at least the next 4 years. They've obviously got a formula that's worked and has started working as of last season onwards. And they're now going to tamper with the whole foundations of it by switching again. Are they? I don't know. I think that seems like a really risky move when if you're ahead. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I don't know how much of an influence Porsche are going to have on it, though, is the only thing. Whether they are literally going to just put their name on it or not.
I don't know how the logistics of that all work, to be completely honest with you.
No. And I guess we've got 4 years to find out more.
Yeah, so. And I'm sure we'll find out, before it takes effect, we'll have some more information, right?
Yeah, 100%. But that's really all that we have on that at the moment anyway. But it is intriguing to look that far ahead into the future and know that things are all switching around. And I thought, whilst we're on the topics of engine brands, I did see, as Lewis Hamilton approaches his 300th race, obviously every race he's ever done in Formula One has been with a Mercedes engine, because it was Mercedes McLaren and then Mercedes. And he is the longest serving driver ever with like a manufacturer.
Yeah.
And he's also about to become the first man ever to race 300 races with one manufacturer. Like Alonso's had like 160 with Renault. Bottas has had like 170 with Mercedes. Because
he's only just gone off Mercedes, isn't it?
But Mercedes, and the Mercedes engine was in the Williams that he drove for before the 5 seasons at Mercedes.
Wow. Mercedes was in the Mercedes and the Mercedes and the Williams.
So that was Schumacher obviously had a lot of races at Ferrari. So well done to Lewis, I guess. I don't think my well done is going to mean much to him, nor do I think this is really going to be up there on his list of achievements, but very cool to see that there is a little bit of loyalty there. It's not, it shows it's pretty unprecedented to have a driver that committed to a team or to a manufacturer. I don't know if he meant it overly. Like, he did leave McLaren Mercedes to go to Mercedes, but then that McLaren Mercedes then become McLaren Honda and all of that shit show. Well done, Lewis. Ricciardo's not leaving.
That was fun, wasn't it? That was a fun couple of days on Twitter, because you saw everyone talking about all the potential people to take his seat.
There's been a list, hasn't there?
Well, I mean, you've got Gasly was slated on there. Vettel was on there for some reason. Pato O'Ward, Colton Herta, who, by the way...
Who we love.
I just don't think he'd fit in on the grid, realistically. I think he'd stick out like a sore thumb.
He doesn't look right.
He just doesn't look like a Formula 1 driver, does he?
He's like a golfer, I think.
He just doesn't look European enough for us, does he?
Clearly, I don't know. Is that? Can we say that?
No, I think we're just being offensive.
Yeah, it's going in, but...
Who else was slated?
Was Piastri spoken about at all?
Yep.
I think Piastri was thrown in there.
That's 5.
I think Nick de Vries was actually thrown in there, funnily enough. At some point.
People are just having fun on the internet.
Yeah.
And like sharing misinformation for fun.
Yeah, it's been a good time. But Danny Ricky came out on Twitter was where I saw it. I don't know if he put it everywhere.
Well, I think he took a screenshot of his own Instagram story. So I think he probably put it on Instagram and then tweeted it.
Yeah, but he just basically said, I'm not fucking leaving. And it will be, it is. I always thought it would be a decision that McLaren have to make, not Ricciardo.
Yeah, of course.
And that's always going to be the case. As a driver, I can only imagine, I can't say from experience, that, you'll always believe that it's in you and you'll always feel like you've got to prove yourself. And I mean, I wouldn't doubt it for a single second that as far as Ricciardo's concerned, his time is still coming. It's just not coming.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's the way you have to look at it, I suppose, because if he looked at it the way we looked at it, then he would, I think he's...
Be on the beach.
I think he's a bit beached. Yeah, he's a bit beached. He's a great character to have on the grid. So I'm more than happy to have him there. And we know that there is a great driver in there somewhere, and he's put in so many special performances over the years winning in Baku from like P10, winning in Monaco with no like half engine power.
Yeah,
these are some crazy drives. I think he won in Malaysia from 6th on the grid, stuff like that. He's put in some special performances over the years. He's got 13 wins.
Were they all at Red Bull?
14 wins? No, he got the McLaren win, didn't he? Monza.
All of them bar that.
Yeah.
He didn't win at Renault, did he?
No. No, it took him like 2-3 years to get a podium, didn't it?
Wait, he raced at Toro Rosso, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
With Max? No. Not with Max?
No,
with Max. Prior to Max.
Before Max, yeah. I would be interested to see who his teammate was.
Is it Sainz?
Maybe. I'm thinking, who was Ricardo's? Because he was at Red Bull from 2014, right? So then would it be like Puemi?
Right, so he was...
Puemi?
He was... Ooh. Yeah, Toro Rosso 2012 to 2013, alongside Frenchman Jean-Eric
Verne.
Jean-Eric
Verne. I thought it was going to be Sebastian Buemi, but I'm guessing that was maybe a bit earlier. Fair enough. Well, yeah, he's got 13 or 14 wins, isn't he? Is that right? Or has he got less than that? Has he got less than that?
He has got 8 wins.
8 wins.
You just made that up completely.
Yeah. Do you know who has got 13 wins? David Coulthard.
Is he actually?
Yeah.
What boy?
Yeah. And obviously that doesn't bail me out at all because they're different nationalities, different ages, different people. But nonetheless, David Coulthard has 13 wins. So
he's raced with Kvyat, Vettel, Jean-Eric Verne,
Hülkenberg.
Yeah.
Ocon. Was he in with Ocon? Maybe not.
I'm still trying to look through all of them. Maybe. I'm sure he raced with Sainz, but I can't find where it would have been.
I think there's a thing that you can like. So I did it with one of the guest drivers the other day.
I'm sure it was Sainz at one point.
Yeah, Renault.
Was it?
Oh, I think so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Daniel Ricciardo teammates. Here we go.
No, it's not.
Jamie Alguersuari, Sebastian Buemi, cheers everyone, they called that. Antonio Liuzzi as well. Wow. Cartha Kayan, Jean-Eric Verne, Daniil Kvyat, Sebastian Vettel, Max Verstappen, Nico Hülkenberg, Esteban Ocon, and Lando Norris.
Yep.
But no Sainz. No.
I thought he raced with Sainz. But...
Yeah, there must have just been like a just missed kind of vibe going on. But yeah, it's great to have Danny.
Who was Sainz's teammate when he was at Toro Rosso?
He was teammates with Max. He was teammates with Max. Yeah, I do know that one.
But there was something that came out recently about Carlos Sainz like not liking racing with him or something. Probably taken way out of context, but
yeah, it all is. But I'm here for it, man. And so is Drive to Survive because they've got nothing to talk about at the moment.
Real.
They are in the mud. I also saw, whilst we're on the topic of Ricciardo not leaving, someone that's been under fairly intense, like not scrutiny, but like, you know, will he stay? Won't he stay? Has been Sebastian Vettel, and that's not because of his performances or anything, but it's more obviously with a lot of his like activism that he's been doing, and his like, you know, his belief in the economical global warming side of things. You know, people thought he might leave, but he's
not the most sustainable sport in the world, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. With the fuel, is at least.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, you know, it's got its own things though. All the travel and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
You know, all the logistics, but yeah. So he has said that he's got a clear intention to stay beyond 2022. So that's another seat that was in question. That again, kind of like Gasly, he's kind of going to be stuck at Aston Martin. I don't think there's option to go anywhere else. He's done Red Bull. He's done Ferrari. And it's kind of weird to think that a 4-time world champion can't get a seat at a top team. But I don't, unless a new top team emerges, where does Sebastian Vettel go other than Aston Martin?
No, exactly. So it's a tricky one. But I think what I saw, excuse me, what I saw was him talking about the fact that he doesn't want to fight for points. He wants to fight for wins.
Yeah. And I think that, obviously that's what every driver wants. But when you're a driver that's had it and not only had it, but proved that you belong there, it's not, it's not like, it's not a Maldonado situation where you kind of just fall into a win. This is a guy that proved over 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, if you remember the Ferrari years as well as the Red Bull years. This is a guy that belongs there. He's not there by chance.
No.
So
exactly.
for him, I can see exactly why. I think a lot of other 4-time world champions would have packed it in by now, competing at the level that he's competing at the moment with Aston Martin.
Yeah. So
Lawrence Stroll obviously needs to pull his finger out and sort that out with the car. And I just, if Seb is to re-sign, which to me seems like the only plausible seat for him at the moment. Obviously, as we've discussed, Ricciardo saying that he's not leaving McLaren, and I don't see McLaren going for Vettel over one of the younger drivers, unless he wants maybe Latifi's seat next year. He's not going to be going anywhere, so he's just got to hope on an improvement for next year. So that's more or less all the news that I've seen. And I also saw that Lewis again coming up to his 300th race. They asked him who his toughest competitor was, and he said Alonso, which is an interesting. I thought that was interesting.
Why?
Because he's never really had 2007 is the only championship battle he's really had with Alonso.
Yeah.
He's been involved in the ones, so like the Vettel era, there was ones where Hamilton could still technically win on points. And of course, Alonso could also win those ones on, but they weren't like sort of direct rivals, whilst he's had the Nico Rosberg years, 14, 15, 16, were as intense as Formula One gets. And then you throw in 2021 against Max.
Yep.
You throw in 17 and 18 against Seb Vettel.
Yep.
These are all fierce battles on and off the track. With Vettel, we had the incident in Baku where he said he brake tested him. Vettel drives into the side of him. We don't really need to comment on the Max battle. Everyone knows about that one. The Rosberg battles, we don't need to talk about that. We know how fired up that was. So I just thought, as much as Alonso has proved a thorn in the side of him on track at times, I thought it was just to call him his toughest competitor.
It was his first year, to be fair.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. It's more like going up against that, as a rookie, maybe.
Yeah, possibly. It's that or the other three.
Wide Alonso.
He disliked the other three so much that he would not give them the pride of being his toughest competitor.
Wouldn't say Max yet, would he? He wouldn't say Max this year.
He was never going to say Max anyway. And the truth be told, Max in many ways is. And I say that because, as I sent you a picture earlier, I watched the 2021 French Grand Prix today, just as a bit of a refresher, and it was on whilst I was working, so it was just nice background noise. And Nico Rosberg was a pundit that day. And obviously I know what happens because it's in the past, but it's a replay of the live coverage. And after the race, there was when Max tried to overtake him with 2 laps left. Lewis just kind of left it. Excuse me. And you see all the clips of Lewis mentioning, how if Max is there, avoid Max. He's always spoke of like he's a dangerous driver. And then after, when they looked at the overtake, Rosberg was like, I can't believe Lewis just let him walk by like that.
I remember that.
He's like, this is Lewis Hamilton. He's like one of the best wheel-to-wheel racers ever, and he just gave up. And I think that Max seems to have struck a fear into Lewis that no other driver ever did. Is that maybe because he was dangerous? Maybe he was just genuinely fearful of an incident. but no other driver was able to scare Lewis off the track the way that Max did. So I don't think he is his toughest competitor, not yet anyway. Possibly won't be. But I don't think Rosberg certainly never scared him off the track, or like Lewis wouldn't have acted that way with another driver. But maybe that's because he respects the other drivers more. He knows that what he can do and what he can't.
Maybe.
But yeah, I thought that was very interesting. But Fernando Alonso, we know how good he is. We know how wide he can make his car. So, but yeah, that's my evaluation of the news.
Fair.
That's probably the most monotone news. Now I look back at it, I've just thought about it and thought.
That's all right. We'll get a race podcast up on Sunday anyway.
have I changed tone in the last 20 minutes of conversation? I don't know if I have.
So we covered the Sainz possibly taking an engine penalty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't think the Ferrari are finishing the races. But there's one thing that obviously is going to be brought up by everyone. It's Nick De Vries testing the car again as part of the Young Drivers Program. NFP1, yay, great.
I mean, obviously everyone's got to do it over the course of a season. Every single driver has to give up. Is it one FP1 session each driver?
Is it? That's mad.
So I think it's 2 per team. So each driver gives up 1 FP1 session for the year. Lewis is this weekend. George's is going to be later on in the year. But Nick De Vries, I mean, you know, he's one of those names that feels like it's been around for so long. But he's the F2 champion in 2019.
And then
the Formula E World Champion 20 and 21, I think. Yeah. So, this is a guy that has clearly got some fantastic racing pedigree. And I am really intrigued to see what he can do this in FP1. I mean, obviously it's FP1, so there's only so much you can do.
Well, we've had quite a few. We've had Piastri's had a session recently. We've had Vips prior to the incident having a session.
Fuck that guy, by the way. Fuck that guy, man.
Prior to we didn't comment on it, did we?
No, I think it was best we just leave it. But fuck that guy. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah, and fuck high tech as well.
Yeah, fuck high tech as well. Yeah. No further questions, Your Honor.
Piastri, Vips, De Vries had his one. Who else have we seen? Obviously, we had Zhou Guanyu last year.
Yeah, to be honest, I actually don't know. I have no answers for you, but either way,
it's always an interesting one because they either top the timesheets or they just don't set a lap.
Yeah,
and I think the last time, I think it was Vips, fuck that guy, was basically doing like race pace for them.
Yeah,
so it was a really odd one because like obviously he was like 2 or 3 seconds off the pace from people's sort of 1 laps, but yeah, it looked like they were doing some interesting stuff, kind of testing the setups and stuff, which I think is interesting to do that because it's kind of like maybe they just know what the driver's capable of and they actually do just want to take advantage of the time in the car.
Yeah, I do think that all teams are aware of what drivers can do, but that at the same time, you say that, but you look at your Piastris and your Nick De Vries who are not in F1, and then you look at your, hate to say it, but like your Zhou Guanyus or maybe even Tsunoda, like these people that didn't even win F2 or Formula E or anything. These are guys, Zhou come 3rd, right?
Yeah.
And I think George Russell did he win it in the end?
Yeah, he won.
He won it in the end. Okay, so there was one where
I'm sure I'll check myself on that.
No, I think you are right. I'm pretty sure you are right. And I know Mick won it as well. But there is like now, obviously, drivers can get in certain elements without so like I say that I think these teams know how good these drivers are, but they're picking other drivers. And maybe it is all just monetary things.
Yeah, he won.
Yeah, I thought so.
He won over Lando, actually. Yeah,
there you go. And look how brilliant fucking Lando is. So,
but I mean, so he won over Lando, and I think possibly
Albon
was in the same year.
Yeah.
George won and then ended up with Williams when we had that year. Albon went straight into the Red. No, he was in
Toro Rosso for like half a season, and
then he got pulled out when Gasly got sacked, and Lando went straight into the McLaren seat. So, they've kind of let the probably the best one out of the three, down a bit there, haven't they?
Yeah, so it is a real cutthroat thing, and Piastri and Nick de Vries being two big examples of that. Neither of them was able to get a seat for Alfa Romeo this year, which is a mid-competitive car that would have been a great car to start your Formula One career in. But
yeah, I agree.
And that's not because Zhou Guanyu's actually been very good recently, so I can't discredit him.
He's proved himself, I think.
Yeah, but there's definitely some really good talent out there, and it almost feels like you want to have another team on the grid now to get these drivers in,
or another two
teams. Yeah. It is true, though. I'd love to have another couple of teams on the grid just to get these drivers in, but the cost caps and, they'll probably be wildly uncompetitive cars. You think of your Marussias, your Caterhams and stuff like that. It's all very messy. In a way, it just clogs up the field and causes more disruption than anything.
But Mercedes.
Yeah. So George Russell basically come out today and
upgrades, baby. Upgrades.
He said he admitted that there was a lot of expectation on Mercedes as they bring on more upgrades for France. Ironically, at this race last season, as I told you earlier, they did a pre-race interview with Toto Wolff, and they said, "Oh, Red Bull were a bit fast this year. How much are you going to upgrade your car and focus on this year, and how much are you going to focus on next year?" And he said, "Well, to be honest, anyone that's still looking to upgrade their car a lot this year is going to fall behind next year." And then Mercedes went and upgraded their car. Mercedes upgraded their car all the way up to Brazil and paid the price this year. So he did not heed his own warning, whilst Red Bull clearly did at least start a little bit earlier with it. But anyway, so they coming into the race this weekend, round 12 in France, and they're bringing more upgrades. You've got to imagine now that if these don't launch them towards the front, Mercedes have got to say, right, we tried, let's do next year. And you've got to imagine the cost cap is telling them that as well. Because they've brought upgrades in Spain, because they brought like a new wing in Miami, didn't they?
They brought a new wing to Silverstone.
They brought a new wing to they brought upgrades to Silverstone. This is the fourth or fifth race out of 12 that they've brought upgrades to. I don't know the rules. They're also, I saw a diagram today that for the regulation alterations for next year to sort out the porpoising that could also maybe benefit Mercedes a bit more with the flexi things bending, and it's all very interesting. And I think that Mercedes very much are trying to get their own way, and I think they're succeeding at the moment in getting the rule changes and stuff. So
I think Hamilton's going to win.
What, next year?
No, Sunday. Yeah.
You think Hamilton's going to win?
Well, Ferrari aren't going to finish.
Well,
so he's already on the podium.
Yeah, he's already on the podium. Yeah, and then Perez won't finish because they're going to turn his car off.
Helmut Marko in the pit box. No, I genuinely think there's a chance, especially if they bring upgrades that work.
Yeah.
I think he could win. I think it's an interesting one, but I'm calling it.
It's kind of a wild card and a prediction.
3 third places in a row.
He is in good form. I'm trying to find what upgrades they're bringing. Because they've got to win this year, haven't they? They've got to win a race.
But one of them has to. And we didn't think it was going to be him either, did we?
Okay, well, yeah, I can't actually find that, but they're 66 points behind Ferrari, who won't finish, so they're going to at least half the gap this weekend to Ferrari. Yeah, why not, man?
You seen that clip of Leclerc and Sainz, and Leclerc goes, "Not a chance," and it's just like,
will Ferrari
finish the race this weekend? Not a chance. It made me really chuckle.
Oh man, and you've got to remember as well. The Haas are not going to finish this weekend too.
Alfa Romeo, one of them's not going to finish.
And at least an Alfa Romeo isn't going to finish as well. So,
As we said, one of the Red Bulls isn't going to finish.
So it's, when you've got 2, 4, 6, at least 7 DNFs coming up.
Guaranteed.
When you've got
Booked
7 locked in DNFs, it is really, I cannot believe I've been holding up 6, 7.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Did you say you were saying it with chess too?
Yeah, that was with chess. Well, enjoy that, YouTube. 7 DNFs. It is going to make for interesting things. So that's your prediction. So is he going to lock out the front row as well?
No. Charles gets pole.
Because he doesn't have to. I see it.
Charles Le qualifying.
Yeah.
Gets pole. And then his car dies. Obviously.
Is it going to be like a really good timed safety car for Lewis? Is that how it's going to work? Do you reckon?
Yeah, and it's the first time he's going to catch the luck as well, because we've always been saying that George catches the luck and Lewis doesn't. It's going to be Verstappen has just pitted.
Yeah.
Lewis falls into P2. Leclerc's car dies, and Lewis has track position with 10 laps to go and holds off Max on brand new softs.
Inshallah for safety car. Okay.
I pray.
I'm going to just go for a more conventional prediction. Actually, I've got an idea. Max double.
Wait, that's what I was thinking.
I've got an idea. I'm going to go with it. Max double.
Yeah, I like that. Let's
Lewis is going to win. Lewis is going to. Oh man!
Don't jinx it.
Well, I guess kind of that is your wild card prediction for the weekend.
No, that's my prediction.
Oh,
my wild card prediction.
Right.
Wild card prediction is. I've done that so many times. I was going to say Alpine podium.
They are up there. Like they are a good car this year. They are also
so French.
Oh, they're well French with a French driver.
Yeah, Ocon the podium. What do you think? Yeah, fuck it, go on. Ocon podium. I think I've done that recently.
And just Gasly podium.
Oh, is that yours?
Yeah, go on.
Fair.
Yeah, French podium, isn't it?
Very French.
So wild card though.
And also my favourite trophy.
Oh yeah, it is a gorilla, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So funny.
Unreal. Well, yeah, just a short little podcast today. We are two broken men, but Joe, as we've finished predicting the race, really, I don't think there's much more to be said on it. Is there any knowledge bombs you want to drop on it before?
Yeah, let's just talk about the track, mate.
Okay.
It's 5.8 kilometers with 15 turns.
I can't run that far. I can't.
I can once, but not 73 times, which is the full race distance.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you like that segue?
Smooth.
Yeah, the lap record, I believe this isn't, it's probably a race lap record. It was 1 minute 32.
Yeah, that's where they take the records from, is the race, not the qualifying.
Sebastian Vettel, Ferrari 2019.
Wow, I'm quite surprised the 2021 car didn't do it.
No, because Max won last year, obviously, with a bit of a ridiculous performance, didn't he?
Yeah, it was.
I think we had a podcast about it at this point. No,
we didn't.
But it was just, there was no one touching him that day at all, really. So
no, they did the Barcelona switcheroo on Mercedes, where Max 2 stopped and Lewis 1 stopped, and Max overtook Lewis with 2 laps left.
First race at Circuit Paul Ricard was in 1971. What was the track called before that one?
Oh, they used to have one at Mangy Court.
That's the one.
Mangy Court, yeah.
Schumacher, if I'm not mistaken, has the most French Grand Prix wins, but they all came before Circuit Paul Ricard. They all came at the other one that you mentioned.
Mangy Court, yeah.
So he's never raced at Paul Ricard.
Okay. Because I know Alain Prost has won like 4 or 5 as well, being a French man.
Well, Schumacher, Prost, and Hamilton, I believe, are the only people to win more than 1 French Grand Prix.
Wow, really?
Because Schumacher's won like 8 or something stupid.
Wow.
Hamilton's won like 4 or 5, and as you said, Prost won like 4, I think, as well. I do apologise if I've just completely lied about all that.
Nah, I mean, we say it with enough chest.
Prost won 6,
Yeah.
including 4 at Paul Ricard.
Okay.
But Michael Schumacher has more French Grand Prix wins. I see, I was right.
Yeah,
French Grand Prix wins than any other driver, winning the event 8 times. He took all of his victories at the Magny-Cours track.
Magny-Cours, yeah.
And then Nigel Mansell and Lewis Hamilton, the only drivers other than Prost to have won at the Paul Ricard track more than once.
Wow. Well, yes, we know Lewis is strong there. We know Mercedes is strong there. And, let's just, as a British
How many track configurations do you think there are at Paul Ricard because of the...
Your smile tells me it's more than I think.
Go on, what did you think?
Because I thought it was 3. And I'm starting to now realise it's not 3. It's way above 3.
It's so much higher than 3.
It's so much higher than 3. Okay.
So they range from 0.8 kilometers, so 800 meters, to 5.5 kilometers.
Wow.
So it's obviously using a lot of different configurations, right? If you fancy one more tiny little guess.
I'm going to throw out 12. Is it still way too low?
It's 167.
That is mental.
Yo.
I guess 3.
Oh, blimey.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. What else we got?
I would love for them to... Do you remember when they did the Bahrain Grand Prix, then the Sakir Grand Prix, and they did...
We just did it backwards?
It was the outer rim of the
yeah. Just fucked about with the same bit.
Yeah, so I would...
I race it backwards all the time on the game.
I don't know if you're meant to do that.
No, I'm sure it was a thing that I could select or something.
But yeah, it would be cool for them to maybe do like a second Paul Ricard in like a different layout or something.
Yep, that's all my facts that I found on f1destinations.com.
I actually also saw how much the Austrian track has been shrunk over the years.
Go on.
Like, I don't know the exact like numbers to how much distance, but the track is like almost like 50% smaller than it was.
Ooh.
Like back in the old days. Basically, it used to go way further up the hill, the same right-hander, but then it used to go, and apparently it was just like really dangerous. I'm guessing it was probably, if you think back in the day, it probably looked like more of a rally stage if it was like, because it's all in the trees and stuff, isn't it? So I can only imagine it looked interesting, but it's a much shorter and smaller track than it used to be. But it would be cool again if they like, because they did for a couple of years host 2 Grand Prix, the Styrian and the Austrian. Yeah, it would be cool if they'd done like 2 different layouts. But I think that very much the other tracks are not very safe, which is why they're not in it anymore. I think it was like 2000. I can't remember the last one was. It was like 2001 or something, and was the last of the old layout before the new one come in. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, so it's some tracks do have that sort of complex. I think Spa really randomly has like a second layout or something.
Yeah, there's multiple layouts to Spa. There's multiple layouts to Silverstone as well.
Yes, yeah. So it would be a fun experiment one day, but it would just, it can't happen. It's too many races. But,
have you watched the video of Ocon that he posted on TikTok?
No.
Doing the track by memory, just like sat there with his steering wheel and stuff.
I've seen I think there's one with Gasly where he's got a bit of rope, or it's like a seat.
No, Ocon's doing it like gear by gear and stuff. It's like he does the whole thing from memory. I think. That's cool.
Sick!
I like that kind of stuff.
I saw there's one, you can find it on YouTube. This is from when Button and Hamilton were teammates at McLaren, and they get both of them to do a lap that. I think it's a lap of Silverstone, to do a lap of Silverstone by memory, and they time it, and they tell them how close they were to the time that they actually do in real life. So see how good their memory was. Hamilton's time in like visualizing it was within 2 seconds of his real time. Button was like 9 seconds out.
Fast or slow?
Button's was 9 seconds too long.
Oh,
and I
interesting.
think Lewis's was 2 seconds too long.
Okay.
But imagine being able to like simulate that in your head to that level of accuracy.
I think I'd underestimate the amount of time it takes me to get to the fridge.
Yeah. No, yeah, that wasn't long enough.
Go to YouTube. Watch that.
Yeah, that's just radio silence for anyone. I just simulated me walking to a fridge.
It's the content you're here to see.
Yeah, this has not been our proudest episode, but I kind of loved it in the same way. But we do have one more segment.
And what's that segment called?
Guess the driver. Woo. Joe is going to think of a driver. Well, he's already got a driver, and I'm going to try and guess who it is. He's going to read out 3 or 4 lines of fact, and I'm going to try and guess who it is. Joe, when you're ready, please read your first line of information.
So, okay, I kind of threw myself off there because the first line is the driver's name, so I almost just ruined the game out the gate.
so Nico Rosberg.
Whoa, how did you know that?
Yeah, dude.
So I was born on the 18th of March, 1982, and I had my debut in F1 in 2004.
2004. Right.
Si, senor. I mean, oui.
Oh, yes.
Oui, monsieur.
Oui. 40 years old. 40 years old. And their first race was in 2004. Who emerged on the scene then? Wow, that is a tough one. Wow. It might get easier, but at the moment, that is a tough one. I'm going to guess Kimi Räikkönen.
No, sir.
Okay.
He's like 42 now, I think.
Yeah, I really didn't have a clue, mate. I just thought I'd throw one out there. And Kimi was racing long before 2004 anyway. So.
Last entry was 2012 Brazilian Grand Prix.
That was their last race?
Yes, sir.
What on earth was that? Wow. 2004 to 2012. And they're only 40.
And in that time, they had 91 starts. So think about the times there. 91 starts in 8 years. 0 wins, 3 podiums, and 51 career points.
Wow. I'm really struggling here. I am really struggling.
I hope I've not lied.
No, you would have you would have got it off the wiki, I'm sure.
Yes, sir.
Wow. 2004 to 2012, 91 races, 3 podiums. Nick Heidfeld.
No, sir.
Damn.
But, if I'm not mistaken, that is one of his teammates. I raced for Jordan Grand Prix.
Right.
Toyota. And Marussia.
Timo Glock.
Yeah.
Come on.
He's in my favourite clip.
The 2008, yes.
Is that Glock going slowly? Yes,
is that Glock going slowly? It is. He's done it. Come on. Pulled that out the bag. Right. Thank you all very much for listening.
2 in a row now.
Oh, we're moving. We've got a good streak going on.
It's the new format. We know how to do it now.
This is better. It is much better. Thank you all very much for listening. We're obviously going to see you on Sunday or Monday after the race. Stay safe and come on the Hamilton.
Love you.
Bye.